Hi, everybody. This is Michael Silber, Event Director for Power and Utilities Australia Conference, continuing with our series of podcasts leading up to the event. Today we're with Joe Losinno, who's the CEO and founder of DiUS, and he'll be speaking to us about what he's going to, about his company and about some of the things and innovations he's been responsible for over the last several years, and also giving us a preview about what he'll be speaking about at the conference. I should note that Joe will be speaking at 1:30 on August 14th in our Digital Transformation Theater, and there will also be an additional presentation in our Tech Zone at 2:45 on August 14th. How are you, Joe?
Yeah, good. Thanks, Michael. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. So I wanted to begin this. I was quite intrigued looking over some of the history of your company. I was quite intrigued about the culture. I'm always interested in companies that have core values that aren't in the norm necessarily, or a little bit different. And I was, you talk about spreading change and moving humanity forward, and I always love that kind of stuff. So, can you talk to us a little bit about those core values or the core cultural values of the company?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I guess so. DiUS is 15 years old this year. I guess we set out as an organisation to help companies big and small with innovation, delivery, in particularly the digital side. Initially, agile, lean ways of working, and so. A lot of what companies talk about today and the kind of transformations that are going on inside organisations has kind of been part of our journey since before DiUS, but certainly since DiUS started. So our core values kind of drive to, what is an emerging way of working, well, certainly back then anyway, 15 years ago, and what is, how technology fits into that, how technology can help enable new business models, etc. But I guess coming back to the culture, we wanted to instill a core glue system, if you want to call it that attracted people of like kind of mind and people who wanted to make a similar impact on the community. So, things like spreading change or seeking greatness for our clients is really core to the way we view the work we do. So this is probably a somewhat strange organisation, but becoming very similar to others. We help clients with building new products, whether that be in the digital space, IoT, or in the analytics, machine learning space. But we also have product development that we've been doing ourselves. So to some degree, we try to eat our own dog food and see whether we can make an impact, not just through helping clients, but through delivering solutions to the market. So a number of our core values push around that. But equally, we're pretty committed to seeing whether we can help the community and the ecosystem we operate in through, different types of initiatives. We talk about moving humanity forward. So we look to engage with people in our community, generally the tech community, helping, whether it's around diversity, whether it's around helping kids around STEM, whether it's looking at startup kind of models for that might support, real challenges to the world. So, yeah, we kind of have a fairly, I don't know that it's that unique these days, but it certainly was, through our history, a way of looking at things.
Well, that's interesting. If I understood it correctly, you say that. Well, let me rephrase the question. How much of your business is kind of your own homegrown solutions, and how much is working with clients in a sort of consultative role?
Yeah, look, I think, if you look at pure numbers, it's probably 85 to 90% working with clients. So I think it's varied over that journey. We've had a number of startups that have either made it or that we've supported. So the model for us around products and startups has been that we've had our own, and we have a couple that we've just recently launched. But equally, we help, founders with their startups. And so there's about 3 or 4 of those that we've been working with clients. So we've kind of got that combination or hybrid as well, where we're helping a customer, but equally we're supporting them in their development. And we've done that through, whether it be investment of time, effort, or money through that process. So, look, still predominantly our business is helping clients with their product development and with their technology adoption, because a lot of them through that transformation into a more lean, agile world are also taking the journey on technology agility as well, as we call it.
So you've kind of answered this already, but how do you of these core values translate into practical solutions?
Yeah, look, I think in a lot of ways we look at kind of what our core value proposition is, and largely that's about helping clients. We talk about capability uplift, so that's one example of how our core values become concrete. A lot of what we do with our customers is not just to get in and help them to deliver products, get started. Often it might be, a division in a company or a couple of founders who are looking to, test and validate some concepts or ideas, or they've identified something they really want to deliver to market, but then there's a journey. A lot of it now is about putting the customer at the centre and going on that journey to develop that key value proposition in your product. But it's our belief that ultimately the client, particularly in these, more digitally oriented new businesses, that they need to have that capability to not just build the product or develop the business, but ongoing support, maintain and enhance that business in whatever direction it needs to go. So we tend to join at the hip with our customers, as we say. So we would either provide that leadership, or we would wrap core capabilities that help them get to market and help them on that, product journey, and we would work with them. But over time, we would hope to leave them in a position that means they could carry forward the ongoing business, development and product development. So, that's a real concrete way that we deliver. I think, we kind of live our values. The other way is obviously we're fairly involved in the community, that, we tend to look at ways of getting our technology expertise out to others. Often that might be in a consulting capacity, but that also may be in, events like hack days or, community engagements around, it might be STEM where we're teaching, kids how to code, or using drones to excite and educate them and try and you see whether we can tap into a passion for technology. So our values are kind of represented both in that commercial sense, but also in the community sense.
Oh, that's fantastic. Do you have any specific case studies in Australia and in the power and utilities space of where any success stories in that area?
Yeah, sure. I mean, in terms of the background in utilities, we've been working in the energy space, whether that be gas or electricity, probably since close to inception. It would be about a year or so in that we started helping organisations, particularly around New South Wales and Victoria, with their journey. Often it would have been around, more technically oriented kind of movement of, perhaps their digital offering, or in some cases really early on around, with companies like True Energy, as they were known back then. It was around supporting a multi-channel, omni-channel kind of digital offering. And so we've been involved in the energy ecosystem for quite some time. Probably for us, I would say, where the journey changed a little from being more, let's say, digital and helping organisations with that side of things was when the smart meter program in Victoria really started to kick off, and that was kind of that 2007, 2008 period. And we were involved with both United Energy and Gemina in helping them both around the customer trials, but also around the technology trials. What kind of technology would support a smart meter program, a mandated smart meter program rollout. And so we were fortunate to be working with those organisations around, what both the industry, government, and then also, each of the distribution companies could do to launch that. So that kind of, if you like, switched a little bit of our focus. That really brought life to our IoT offering, and we started to do a lot more work, not just in the digital space, but in, things like smart sensors. We worked with a number of the utilities in, connecting devices to the smart meter using, as it was then, the home area network. A lot of that stuff is now been superseded by other models and mechanisms. But certainly, probably the turning point and one of the fond case studies for us is the smart meter program itself in Victoria, because that really did launch, we'll say in the energy sector, that more IoT kind of thinking, So now today we talk about, devices that help consumers with understanding what their energy footprint looks like. We talk about how we might decentralise or, look at, the mix of generation. And so a lot of that technology enablement, we kind of date back to those 2007, 2008 smart meter days in Victoria. I mean, we had a number of, examples of projects, but probably the one that is still a challenge for the industry, but that we'd helped United Energy and in particular United Energy and Gemita with, was developing a portal for their customers to be able to look at, their energy data, look at what was happening in their home at various points in the day. This was an online portal that, was able to tap into the data that was being collected out of the smart meters, and give them a profile over the day, give them a profile over the week, over the season. If you had, whether it be solar pools or whatever the makeup was, it would give you insight into when you were using your energy, perhaps not so much where, but certainly when. And so the journey that, a lot of organisations find themselves embarking on either now or certainly in the middle of it, in helping their customers to understand better their energy footprint, sort of started back then at around 2010. So not a very recent case study, but certainly something that I like to talk about because it's still a challenge for industry now.
I think our audience is going to be very engaged in the topic in your discussion. Listen, thanks very much for your time, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in August.
Thanks for having me.
Please come and join us on August 14th, 15th at the Melbourne Exhibition and Convention Centre to hear our speakers discuss strategies and solutions for the energy transition. Head across to powerandutilitiesaustralia.com to register.